Welcome, Pisces, your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 1st of June for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week ahead first. Then on screen is your event chart as you go into the week. I'll unpack that. That always provides an important backdrop. I'll then go through each of the influences in detail, Pisces. At the end of the video, you'll have a clearer picture of what's upcoming in terms of your energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. As we go into this week, the might of the full moon, which occurred late last week, is still very much to the fore. And it may mean that your emotions seem very close to the surface. If there are some tender issues, the chances are they will have to be ventilated. And you may find yourself speaking passionately about whatever it is that you may be finding a little challenging. But one of the wonderful things about going into this new week is that Mercury, the planet of communication, moves into a very playful, flirty, and imaginative part of your chart on Monday for 10 long weeks. That's a wonderful cosmic window of opportunity for self-expression. You already have Venus and Jupiter, your traditional ruler, in that area, and they're going to come together magnificently in week 2 of June. So Mercury really helps the process. Now, it is going to forge an awkward as well as very positive link later in the week, which I will share with you. So on the screen is your event chart, the gathering of energy in the sign of Gemini, which is very much to do with quick communication, very cerebral, but for you, the fourth house, you're thinking or speaking about where you live. It could be that you work from home, you run a home-based business, you're thinking of moving home, you want to declutter, you want more space because of Uranus being in your fourth house. Lots of different possibilities, but whatever's going on, there could be dialogue around how you feel about things, maybe family politics, because Venus, the planet of relating, did clash with Saturn, the planet of coolness, last week, and that may have fed into how you're feeling, and the moon right at the top of your chart on the lunation may have made it more difficult to disguise how you feel. So your emotions have come into the open. But Mars linked to that lunation in a way that suggests even if you are feeling a bit vulnerable, you can definitely tell people how you feel, and that's good. Also, Mercury in the fourth house, as it has been for around about 3 weeks, can be a bit tongue-tied. Mercury rules the sign of Gemini for sure, and maybe you have expressed how you feel around factual things to do with your property or home, but emotional things much more challenging. So Mercury moving into the more nurturing sign of Cancer for you personally can be very, very positive. Mercury in any water sign, as it was in your sign with the previous retrograde, it goes retrograde later this coming month on the 29th of June. Mercury in water signs finds it more difficult to be crisp and detached. But for you, it's the fifth house, and that can be where you can just let that more emotional vibe of how you express yourself start to bubble out in a way which may have felt a bit more difficult with all this Gemini energy of late. But as Mercury moves forwards, it does link to the North Node on Wednesday in your sign. And if there is someone who's capturing your imagination at the moment, the flow between you can be just gorgeous. But then on Thursday links back to Neptune in the second house. Now, Venus's square to Saturn last week may have brought up some tension about expenditure and maybe around fashion or maybe around just general enjoyment cost. And Neptune could do the same again in its square with Mercury later in the week. And it is important to know that Mercury-Neptune squares can be very confusing. So there is the potential for that. But what really provides a kind of foundation for the whole week is that the moon, pardon me, the sun moves forwards on Tuesday and links back to Saturn. So despite the fact that there is quite a lot of emotion washing around at the start of the week, if you can really get grounded, there's a lot you can achieve in practical ways that gives you some kind of outcome, tangible outcome, which will please you. As far as the big picture in your chart is concerned, as I've been saying for some while, digging deep into your past experiences and knowledge. You have great accumulated wisdom, and that can feed into some of the things you may be considering about where to live or who with and how, or maybe changes to your home, making it slightly bigger, or if kids have left the nest, perhaps downsizing. These can be things that you're contemplating, but do know as we go further into June that it can be a month of great pleasure, great joyfulness, and great connections with some lovely people for you. So I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. But just before I do, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscope reports. It's now three for the price of one. You get your life roadmap report, you get free your 12 months transit forecast and your draconic soul analysis. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your June monthly forecast, please check that out on the screen. Yet to watch your Mars in Taurus forecast on the screen. If you would like to have a one-to-one with me, absolute pleasure, please see my testimonials below. Someone said, when I said that I've worked with people on every continent, they said, well, and Antarctica. Good, good. You caught me out good and proper there. Um, yes, that was a good one. Thank you. So here to assist in any way I can. And if you would like to sign up for your free daily written horoscope, fire to your device each morning, please see below for that. Get your early day celestial pit stop. So let's start with energy. So what is energy? What causes our energy to go up and go down? I think for me, it's very much to do with emotion. You know, if we're in a good space, our energy is much more likely to be bubbly. I think if you are worried about money, as many of us are, that could feed into your sense of well-being at the start of this week. But also, if you're not enjoying where you're living or who you're living with, or you can't quite relate to someone in an emotional context, that can be a little bit draining. But I think Mercury moving deeper into the sign of Cancer, yes, it clashes with your modern ruler Neptune this week. It's soon going to clash with Saturn after that. But get through that. It does go into its pre-retrograde on the 13th of the month. But it does give you a chance to just look at things in a lighter and brighter way. And I think that will help your energy no end. As far as your professional situation is concerned, I think if you are a person who has an opportunity to use your emotional skills, but in a more logical way, I know that sounds a bit odd, but whatever your role is, if your instincts and knowledge of people are things you can deploy, this can be a good week. Also, if you work from home, good week. I think there's a lot to like. It may be also, if you're a creative or expressive Pisces, which many Pisces are, that Mercury moving to join up with Venus and Jupiter can really enrich whatever you're doing, which of course can feed into your employment prospects. As far as romance is concerned, Mercury moving to join with Venus and Jupiter is seriously delicious. But let's say, for example, you're with someone at the moment and you're not gelling emotionally. However much we get that wondrous energy in Cancer, it's not going to call out to you. What is true if you're single, I think if you can mix and mingle as much as possible throughout the month of June, that's a very positive thing for you to do. And as far as money's concerned, well, yes, Saturn in the second house, we can't we can't disguise the fact that that can be challenging. And I think the link with Venus at the start of this week is just saying, be careful with your resources. Don't try to be too extravagant. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me, Pisces. Look forward to seeing you again soon and have a great week.